All right, James, how you doing? All right, mate.
I just got your message, didn't I? So, one sec.
Yeah, it's. I didn't think it'd do it because this was a Friday link in it, and today's Saturday.
Yeah, got me in a bit of a tiz, mate. How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. I had a late one last night, but yeah, I'm okay.
Good
Uh,
stuff.
what you been up to?
Well, it was Valentine's, wasn't it? I had trouble getting out the front door yesterday with all the cards and all that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God, yeah. What
Loving it, mate.
from your fan club in Barnsley?
Yeah, massively.
I
I'm
want
Yorkshire's
it.
favourite, mate, aren't I?
Hey.
Yorkshire's favourite, aren't I? That's why you love me, and all, isn't it?
Okay, we'll get stuck straight in then. I just want to say good luck to Joe Gallagher in his back.
Yeah,
I've spoke to him today. He's got his first session of chemo. I think next Saturday. I think so. Good luck to Joe. I
yeah,
forgot
big
about what
time.
we spoke about, but he's one of boxing's good guys. He stood up against that lot at Essex, didn't he?
Yeah,
When
he
they
has.
when they were saying you've got to leave him if you want to go on our shows. And I'm not going to go into too much about it, but because I'm going to do something with Kent next week. But good luck to Joe.
Hmm.
Uh, and he can beat it, Joe, because he's got that right mindset. But it's very
Yeah,
upsetting.
of course he
Uh,
is.
the Bricktop takeover, James. What do you think?
Well, I said it was coming. I've been saying it for months and but I don't necessarily think it's a Bricktop takeover. It's a Turkey takeover with Bricktop as a little conduit to that. So you know what I mean? They're going to use him up, and then because I mean Bricktop, he always survives, doesn't he? He's like a cockroach. But the thing is with Triple T, he's got too much money and too much power, and I just think he's going to use him, not abuse him because they're paying him very well, but use him up until he's got all the knowledge. And then I've said to you, and I just see him really overtaking and turning it into the UFC model.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna. That remains to be seen what the plans are, because that could be way off. He might have fell out of He might have fell out of love with boxing by that time, Turkey. But
Yeah, maybe so.
they put a lot of investment in, haven't they? It's £1 billion now, isn't it? Apparently,
Yeah, I don't see him falling out of love with boxing as such, though,
the people,
Russ,
you
because
mean?
it's sport, isn't it? Like it's sport as a whole that they're interested in, because if the oil becomes less useful with all this electric cars talk, sport's a massive commodity. So I just think they'll put it on the sort of back burner, but I don't think they'll ever get fully bored of it because it's a commodity to them.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, you're probably right. Is Eddie Hills in the wilderness, James?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I've said that before as well. And he's an agent. Well, we both said it, didn't we? Because I compared him to a capo, and you was like, he's not even a capo, is he? He's a soldier.
Yeah.
But you sent me the advert last week, didn't you, for Maury's wigs? And I was looking at a video of him this morning, and the hair's, I mean, my hair's thin, but his is, I don't know, it's just wispy, isn't it? He looks like a cross between Big Milk and Maury at Goodfellas at the minute. He's not aging very well.
What's happened to Big Malk?
Don't know. I think us roasting him and proving that he's full of shite, and there's a lot of people slag him off on Talksport. I think his ego probably can't take it, mate. He's gone into the wilderness, hasn't
Yeah, it's strange. What do you think to Tunde and Yard making up with Bricktop?
he? Well, it's in their best interests.
Yeah,
I don't think that, but I never thought the problem was with Yard. You know, him and he always referred to Bricktop as Uncle Frank. They used to go to Arsenal games together. He just had someone steering the ship in Tundi, and sometimes they can make the wrong decisions for you, can't they? So I think the issue was with Tundi and Frank, not the other way around.
yeah,
Well,
and obviously Big Malk were spoken one into Tunde's head apparently and saying, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that," like he's an expert.
yeah, he's reminiscent, and I don't want to sort of put him down because I've got a lot of time for this guy. He reminds me of Ambrose Mendy a bit, but with no
Who does?
influence. Like not Big Mal, but if I'm finished my sentence, like Big Mal reminds me of Ambrose Mendy with absolutely no influence whatsoever. What I mean is black is best and all that. He's a bit of a throwback to 1960s, like thinking he's Don King and all that, isn't he? And it's nice to see him pushed on the back into the wilderness a little bit because I don't like all that narrative. It don't matter what colour you are. You know what I mean? You should just be. It's like I've said this before. Nick Pete with Scousers. When you listen to him, there's a Scouse fighter. He's the best fighter in the world, and it just pisses me off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Smiths.
Yeah, yeah. What did Paul Smith ever do? What was his biggest win? Tony Dodson.
Yeah, he loses his mind, doesn't he, Nick Pete, when there's a Scouser on it. It's a bit like Big Mal, we sports, isn't it, really, on
Yeah,
support.
black fighters. Exactly. And I've got no time for it.
Do
You
you
need
remember?
to
Sorry,
go on. Sorry.
do you
No, I
remember
was just
back
saying.
in? Keep doing it, don't you, kid? Do you remember back in the day, them jackets, them leather jackets that Mendy and Nigel Benn used to run around in?
Yeah.
You remember them jackets? What he said on back and that? No, I don't think we can say it on here now because you get all these woke lots screaming. But we know what went on, don't we? And where's he now, Ambrose Mendy?
He's he's still doing sports agency and that, isn't he?
Sports
We
agency, yeah. Do me a favour. Let me tell
is
you
he
a little
not? No.
story about him, James. Shall I? When I
Go
worked
on.
for Big Ron, in this true Ambrose Mendy, he were on the blower to borrow 11 bags. And Dennis went, yeah, I'll sort you that out. And then months down the line, Dennis pulled him about it and he went, oh, didn't you get that invoice? Dennis goes, what invoice? He goes, that were invoice 11 grand for what for? My involvement in some advice I give you. I give it some waffle like that. And basically once you a lot of people don't know this, but once you get a loan off somebody, if you invoice them, right, it then becomes a civil matter, doesn't it? Because if you give
Yeah,
somebody
of
a
course.
loan, it's civil, it's not criminal, is it? And
No.
basically, he lifted Big Ron's leg for 11 bags, mate, and come out with a load of shit. And that's what he does. Isn't that right, Ambrose? That's why you're on the outside looking in, and nobody in the sport of boxing will touch you with a barge pole, and that's dropping ocean to Big Ron 11 bags. And I
Mm.
were like, wow, do you know what I mean? I thought this guy were loaded, this Ambrose man. It turns out he hasn't got a pot to piss in.
No. He's
Do you know what I mean?
confidence trickster then, isn't he?
Confidence tricks are like a lot of them, and that's how it'll all go. That's how it'll go with Mr. Unbearable, Sam Jones. It'll go like him. I mean, every time one of his fighters is on, we have to have him all week doing the rounds, on YouTube. And Jack Cattrall's a beast. And I don't really want to comment on Joe Joyce. I'll leave that up to Adam Morley. But let me just say this to you, Sam Jones or Adam Morley. Why would he be even pushing him out there, Joe Joyce? He can't string a sentence together, can he? Do you know
No.
what I mean? The man's a mumbling, stumbling, shivering wreck of a fighter. Do you know what I mean? He's what's wrong with boxing. He's 40 this year. Do you know what I mean? But Sam Jones has had a good do out of him, man, and got his Senate mix. You know what I mean?
Also,
With him. But this is how I look at it. Sam Jones, you're becoming absolutely unbearable. Absolutely unbearable. And now he's even talking about the Lazy Rhino and Elmer Fudd fighting at Leighton Orient. But he says it's up to Elmer Fudd if the fight goes ahead. Well, Liam Cameron and Ben Whitaker, they're doing the business. They're going to have a rematch. So why can't Elmer Fudd sign up dotted line for Lazy Rhino and get it all over and done with? He's already agreed
mm,
terms, so let's get it done. Get at it, because I'm fed up of seeing White Rhino with begging bowl out on YouTube and Jamie Moore. It's become boring now, hasn't it?
well, what I'm sick of with that is 1 minute Dave don't want to fight. Oh, I don't want to fight him. He's me pal. What do you always say, Russ?
He's
He's
my
me
pal.
pal.
He's my pal.
Yeah,
He's a pal of
yeah,
mine. Well, he ain't my pal. Well, Big Dennis, that's
and
big Ron's saying, isn't it? Oh, what
yeah,
with
and
him? What's happening with him, Dennis? Oh, he's my pal. He's all right. He's a pal of mine. I say, oh, you ain't got no pals, Dennis. You fall out with everybody.
well, now the narrative's changing every week, and I'm surprised that someone with that much Botox in his head has been accepted into such a manly environment. Sam Jones, he
Oh,
looks like an
Samuel
18.
Jones. Well, no,
Yeah,
I'll tell you why, shall I? Because he's one of them. He's a bit like Dev cheese and onion pickle sandwich. He's a bit like that sandwich, isn't he, really? He's just going to agree to everything and do as he's told and be a company man. I mean, he's manager for Johnny Fisher, isn't he, right? Okay,
mm,
fair enough, Elmer Flood. He's his manager, but technically, he don't make the decisions. He's just there to go out there on social media and big him up. That's all it is. The father's there to sell the tickets for him. Do you know what I mean? But he's becoming more. He's become fell in love with himself, and the father.
yeah,
Dave Allen exposed him for what he is, Johnny Fisher, a gimmick. And now he
yeah,
looks to me like the shit in the pants and they don't want to fight the lazy rhino. That's what I think. Because you get filled in and then the bubbles burst, in it.
yeah. Do you think, Russ, that because I've been going around this in my head, do you think Kinahan still has an involvement? Because that's how they got involved in the sport, isn't it?
Oh,
Like not involved, but how they sort of got sort of front and centre because they were doing little bits for Kinahan, or have I got that
who what?
wrong?
Samuel Jones.
Yeah,
Well, only because he's going to do as he's told, isn't he? Him and Big Mal when we're kidding. I want them because they're going to do as they're told. They were coming out, speaking out, saying Daniel Kinahan's a gentleman and this and that, and never done no wrong in his life and no criminal record and all that, which is fair enough and all that. But then once it all really come out, nobody wanted to speak about it, did they?
no,
Nobody wants to speak about it. Where would all this love for him and all that, and he's innocent and all that because they stopped filling their boots, didn't they? Kinahan fucking stopped the tap of them all.
of course, yeah,
So and then they just move on to the next person that they can ponce off, don't they?
yeah.
I mean, that's what the big mouth tried to get in there with Dubois and all that, didn't he? And Sam Jones was poncing the living. Aren't you, Sam? You ponce. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, isn't it? But Sam Jones has just said he's struggling to even talk about Joe Joyce. Why? Because there's no to talk about now. Like I've just said, the man's a shivering wreck. Do you know what I mean? That's what boxing's done to him. 103 rounds as a pro, and it's all over.
Yeah.
It's all over by the shouting now, isn't it?
hmm I mean, he's struggling to talk about him. Well, why not be a man of principle? And if you're struggling to talk about him, I'm presuming it's because you're worried about the state of him. Tell him, be a man, and just say, look, you're my friend. I don't want anything to do with you. Do a 30 Pacheco because I think he's just
Walk
like you
away.
just said. Yeah, walk away. Exactly. If you've got any integrity, Sam Jones, walk away from the
Well,
situation.
he's not to do with Joe Joyce now, is it? It's that Adam Morley, but they're just going to keep wheeling Joe out. What if he loses to Dylan White? There'll be some lesser fighter. Then it'll be probably David Adelaide will be feasting on him, and before you know where you are, there'll be Lazy Rhino. Then it'll be Joe Joyce against Johnny Fisher, this time in
Mm.
2 year, and then before you know where you are, it'll be Hungarian plumbers against Joe Joyce, and then he'll end up with Danny Williams, and then once they've not left of him, and he's been took to meat market, they'll Adam Morley will move on to next big thing,
Yeah,
won't he? Or do you know that's how I look at it.
I'd agree with you. And we talked about it last week. That's the sad state of boxing at the moment. It's just, while there's money on the table, the sharks are still circling, and it annoys me really.
Do you think, James, that there's too many fighters now that are absolutely washed up in the heavyweight division that still being wheeled out there?
Yeah, there's the prime example last week, and he was on Talksport, Derek Chisora, and he was softly spoken. He's mumbling and stumbling over his words and stuff like that, and they're talking about a potential world title shot. Do you want to kill the man? Like it leaves a sour taste in the mouth, and books like that, what Tris Dixon wrote, Damage. When he's talking about CTE. Well, there's your human example of what boxing can do. Derek Chisora, Joe Joyce. And again, I felt dirty reading that book, Damage. I felt absolutely dirty being a boxing fan. And I refuse to. I mean, I've seen the highlights. I'm not going to say I didn't. I'm not going to tune into a Derek Chisora fight live because you're endorsing it, aren't you?
Yeah, somebody's just sent me what Tony Bellew put on X, or it used to be Twitter, didn't it? Listen to this. I don't
Mm.
know if you've seen it. He's getting slaughtered. Old Tony. I just hope he gets home safe to his family. Uh, Tony Bellew put this on X. This is so sad. I'm hoping he can get over this. I'm not his friend or a fan, but this man has a family and has so many who rely on him. Sending you wishes of luck, Joe, to Joe Gallagher. I'm not his friend or a fan. Why would you put that about a man that's got cancer and he's going to be having
Yeah.
kids? Why? You know, he just keep. He, and somebody's put his somebody else has said about. I'm not going to say who, but basically any trending story, and he's there. He's Johnny on the spot, and he Tony, and he loves to get stuck in. But there's nothing from ladies and gentlemen, the Smiths. There's nothing from the
No,
Smiths who are all millionaires thanks to Joe. There's no from them
no.
yet, is there?
But do you know what I mean? Well, I mean, I'm not even gonna. I'll sort of say, well, maybe they've kept it private, Russ. The problem is with today's society is we seem to be like celebrities. Oh, if you ain't put it on Twitter, it ain't happened. Maybe they've been in contact with him. I don't know if you know, but sometimes keep it off social media. But the thing is, your answer to your query about
I'd say they haven't been in touch, but that's me. But
yeah,
what you were saying,
good. Well, no, the thing is with Bellew and like the reason why he'd go, I'm not a friend of his, but
he
it's
could have
virtue
texted
signaling.
Joe, couldn't he? Why put it on Twitter that and show he's sent
Well,
up?
exactly.
And
It's
why put
virtue
something
signaling
like that? I'm not his friend or a fan.
because it's virtue signaling. I'm a great bloke. Look at me. I can't stand the guy, but I don't want him to die. Well, no, that's just common courtesy, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Jonathan's text me. Can Rhino stop begging for the Fisher fight? I don't really know what's going on there. 1 minute he don't want it, and he says I'm all wrong for him. Next minute he wants it. 1 minute he won, he didn't win. He won, he didn't win. Is it just to keep the story going? Is this what it's all about? It's his biggest fight he's ever going to get in his life now. That right. So Rhino doesn't need the money now. He's set up for life. But why keep going on about it? Just crack on and fight somebody else. The fight will always be there because it looks like Fisher is going to need his confidence rebuilding now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, definitely.
So
Well,
okay. David Adelaide against that TKV. What do you think? That's a good fight, that isn't it?
yeah, it is a good sort of rebuilding fight after Wardley beating you. There's worse avenues you can go down. He's not a Polish plumber, is he? TKB. So yeah. Um,
No. What about this one? Dillian White, the can man. Anybody who wants it can get it. Boof, 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 boof. Talking outside the mouth. Boof, boof. Against Juggernaut Joe Joyce. What do you think to that? Do you think it's a crossroads fight or a trade fight? What do you think?
it's not a trade fight. It's not really a crossroads fight. It's two. It's one man who's just being. I think he's being like socially sort of abused for money and ringing the flannel in Joe Joyce, and another guy that shouldn't even be in boxing because how many tests can you fail? We will sit here slagging off Conor Ben. Well, you see it in the comments. You don't see as many comments about Dillian White though, do you? Shouldn't even be in the ring.
Yeah.
I can imagine when he makes love, he probably rattles. He's taking that many tablets.
Mm, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no interest whatsoever. Load
Dylan
of shite.
White. Dylan White. Nobody's asking Dylan White what he thinks about Povetkin's fight with him being now classed as a no contest, although it's not been altered on BoxRec yet, and neither has Huey's. But nobody's asking Dylan White about the Povetkin beating him and being on gear. And but everybody's asking David Price. Why is that, James?
We we know why. How the hell
Tell
can
me.
they ask
Tell
him?
me. Tell me.
How the hell can they ask him? It's like
Tell me
asking.
because I've got my knee on Dylan White's neck today.
Well, it's like asking McDonald's, right, to talk about welfare of cows. Give us some tips, McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? Oh well, we send them to the abattoir to make you beautiful burgers. It'd just be totally hypocritical. And like we mentioned it last week when we last spoke, didn't we, about YouTubers? They don't want the harsh comments and all that because it's not good for their egos. Want
Charlie
everybody
Parsons,
smiling.
you know that little gerbil who stuck it to you? He's just done an interview with Eddie and said Eddie's his brother.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's only
Probably
young, and he
brother.
He didn't stick it to me, did he, Russ? I stuck it to him and he got offended. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I stuck it
he's
to
only a
him.
bit of a kid, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Fair play to him. He's doing better. He's doing better than me. It's just he's a bit sensitive, isn't he?
He's a bit what?
Sensitive. He's a sensitive boy.
He's a young kid, isn't he, man? Like, having the time of his life, and he? He just he looks to me like he'd take a dare if Edward asked. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be running around if I were him, saying I've just had an ice bath with Derek Chisora.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. He's probably, he's well, they're brothers. He might even be a fluffer for Eddie in his many sort of extramarital pursuits.
Well, listen,
So
nothing surprises being boxing after Frank Maloney. Frank, it's Frank.
I know.
So, or Kelly Maloney. Uh, Big Lawrence Okolie against Richard Riakporte. I've got Lawrence to win by KO. Now, because he don't have to make weight now or anything, does he, Lawrence? What do you think to that for a
Um,
James?
I just think it's going to be an ugly fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
He might just revert to type because Riakporte can fight when he wants to. I don't know what happened against Billum Smith. He didn't really pull any trigger or anything like that. I think it was all that shagging around with Madonna that he was doing. I think it weakened his legs, didn't it?
Has he been with Madonna,
Um,
Riakporte?
yeah.
Has
Have you
he?
not heard that?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Toy boy, mate. Yeah.
Are you?
So I think, yeah, I think that weakened his legs. Being touched like a virgin for the very first time, and uh, he can fight. But then if he throws the fight towards Okolie, well, Okolie's just going to make it ugly, and I think it's going to be a bit of a bore win on points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Somebody had a bit of a dig at me in comment section regarding saying that me and other people on here are always bigging Muhammad Ali up too much. Well, let me just say this to you, you shit house. Ali beat the 1956 gold medalist. He won the gold medal in 1960. He beat Fraser, a 64 gold medalist, Foreman, a 68 gold medalist. He schooled the 72 gold medalist, that Tia, whatever he was called, that
Yeah.
the Cuban who didn't
Stevenson.
yeah, Stevenson, who didn't turn pro. He beat
Hmm.
Spinks, the 76 medalist, didn't it? And he went in
Hmm.
there with a 1980 Olympian, Trevor Berbick. So for 24 years, he were getting stuck into Olympians. So, and then you look at his CV, he'd done Liston twice, Foreman, he'd done Fraser twice, done Ernie Shavers, got him with a peak Larry Holmes after when he'd been hard at game a while, and you know what I mean. So Ali was a bad dude.
He
And
was.
and then I look at people now, like Ali has 16 wins over world champions, but a lot of the guys he beat weren't world champions. Some others, like Ernie Shavers and people like that. But nowadays we've got Tyson Fury, who's beat Vladimir, who were in his 40th year, nearly 40, and he's got a couple of wins over Wilder and a win over Steve Cunningham, and that's it. And look at Ali's CV, but yeah, Joshua's CV and Fury's as poor outside of Ali, isn't it? So
Yeah,
and
of course.
everybody else is in divisions. Only Lennox Lewis can really come close, isn't there? Really, and he got knocked
Yeah,
out twice, didn't he? So why
hold a
would anybody
candle.
want to have a dig at me, biggie Muhammad Ali, up the greatest of all time in the heavyweight division? Do you agree with that, James?
Yeah, I do agree. Well, I've told you my views on Lennox Lewis. It depends how I'm feeling on a particular day. But when you lay it out the way you did there, it's hard for me not to agree with you 100%.
Don't forget, he
But
had a 3.5 year hiatus when after
yeah.
that draft dodging carry on. But
Hmm.
okay, Derek Chisora, they're talking about him in Hall of Fame, and Talksport are going on about he's got all-time greats on his record. Yes, but they're all-time great. Some will be all-time greats, but the losses aren't they?
Yeah,
Best
exactly.
win on paper is Pulev, who went on to win a regular belt, right, late in his career. That's Derek Chisora's best win. So I talk sport out of order when they keep going on, and Spencer Oliver, Juggies, keep going on about Derek's CV. He's been in with all time greats.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's lost,
Well,
hasn't he?
Yeah, well, I've got the perfect answer to that, and it's two
Well,
words: Peter Buckley. If we're going to say that Derek Chisora deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, surely Peter Buckley does. He fought everyone and all, world champions galore. No one will know who he is across the pond, will they? I don't agree with the Hall of Fame. It's very soft nowadays. I don't even think Arturo Gatti should be in the Hall of Fame. It's only because he's exciting that he gets the opportunity. It shouldn't be about, what draws the TV viewers in. It should be about your achievements.
well, Arturo Gatti were big mates with Dan Rayfield, and he were pushing for it when after he got murdered or after he passed away when at a young age. Dan
Yeah.
Rayfield were pushing for it, but Gatti, it's an hard one that because he were in great fights, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But yeah, it is hard. It is hard. But
Two-weight world champion as well, wasn't he?
yeah, you're making it harder for me, Ross, to be fair.
That made you look stupid, Anna, really.
I know you have. You
So
have.
it is what it is. If Sylvester Stallone can get in there, he's never boxed in his life. I'm
Yeah.
sure they can let Gatti in, can't they? He's probably
Yeah.
one of the greatest fights of all time with Michael Ward, wasn't he?
I'll shut my
So,
face, mate.
hey,
I'll shut my face. I'm talking bollocks.
you are, mate. You are.
I am.
Fury, why can't he show a bit of respect to Usyk? He's at it again and that. And Usyk, oh, let's have it right. His wife's stunning, isn't she? Usyk's come out and
Yeah.
he's shown nothing but respect to Fury yet again. And Fury just can't give him his can't give him that seal of approval, can he? He can't do it,
No.
can he, Fury? And I think it's in bad taste, do you?
Yeah, massively. I just don't think, there's people out there who aren't very nice people, and I don't know Tyson Fury personally, but I just think he's one of them from what I've seen. I don't think he's a particularly nice person. I
Do
mean, he might do stuff on the quiet that contradicts what I've just said, but your public persona, I think it leaves a lot to be desired. So Usyk's just the man, isn't he? And he deserves a stunning wife. He deserves a nice life, and he's a role model. Like you always used to say, didn't you, Rush? You'd like him if your daughter brought home Alexander Usyk. You'd be quite happy, wouldn't you?
I'll be over at Moon, mate. I get VIP tickets ringside.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. So that's the measure of the man, isn't it?
Yeah, I should have my Usyk hoodie on today that a friend from Kent sent me years ago.
Mhm.
Usyk, he beat Joe Joyce, Fury twice, Joshua twice, Dubois, Bellew, Chisora. Do you think he took all the souls? Because they've all never been the same since, have they, really?
Yeah.
Tony
Well, yeah.
retired, Fury retired. He retired them, didn't
Hmm. Well, he's definitely took Fury's soul because Fury can't take he can't take it anyway, can he? Like the losses, I think, is his mental health. I don't think it's his mental health is as bad as he says it is, but I do think he's tapped. So I think he just like exaggerate. Well, Usyk beating him has exaggerated that mental health, and yeah, he's definitely taken Fury's soul. I'll big Joshua up for giving it even more of a go than Fury did. Um, I don't know, I've got a bit more time for Joshua and Fury. Derek Chisora, his soul left about 10 years ago, and Daniel Dubois, he seems to be sort of thriving. I mean, they've got him talking now, haven't they? Old John Coffey, and he's been able to string sentences together at the moment. So, I think his soul is on the ascendancy. But yeah, definitely Tyson Fury. I'm not sure about the others.
Well, John Coffey, could you imagine being stuck on a aeroplane sat next to him and Juggernaut Joe?
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, look at that. Did you see the press conference clips from Dillian White and Joe Joyce? It was
Dylan
horrendous. It was
White's
like
funny,
watching
innit?
Alan Partridge. It was awful, mate.
Listen, Joe Joyce needs saving from himself, and Dillian's not that far behind him, is he? I know he's 2 years younger, but
No.
listen, this is how I look at it, right? Dylan White has had 4 issues now, right, with doping. How is he even in sport?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Uh, okay. Uh, Derek Chisora. Now the Gad came out and he said that they all feared Derek for years, and you never know what he was going to do next. So they all tiptoed around him. But now he's this jovial character that gets it and knows how to promote shows and that. Yeah, he probably does know how to get himself out there. But didn't he fill an Uber driver in other week or something? And then he was talking about threatening to fill other people in, fans asking for pictures and all. Ultratech says that he's a ticking time bomb, doesn't he? Just and he can go off at any stage, Derek. So,
Yep.
do you believe that, James?
I do believe that, and I'll throw something out there. I don't know if you've ever watched wrestling, Russ.
Which one? The one with Mick McManus, Big Daddy, and Giant
No,
Haystacks on a
no,
Saturday afternoon?
no,
Or that? No, I don't watch the other
no.
stuff now.
WWF. Well, there was a wrestler called Chris Benoit, and he. I'm not saying that this is the same level, but he ended up killing his family. He was a ticking time bomb, and he had CTE when they cut him open because he used to do this move called a diving headbutt, where he would literally jump off the top rope and smash his head into the canvas constantly. And he was displaying more erratic behaviour, more aggression just over time. So yeah, I would agree that he's a ticking time bomb.
Well, from I don't really, well, I don't watch that kind of thing. Terry, I think Terry used to be into that. He's a lot younger than me, but I do
Yeah,
know that it's all acting and all that because I used to know a bodybuilder from West Yorkshire called Ian Harrison who were in Olympia, and he ended up a wrestler, and it's all pantomime and all stage and that. But
yeah,
I've seen quotes from Hulk Hogan over years and The Rock and that, and they all say Kurt Angle was the best wrestler. If they want to
he
get
was. He was.
a proper wrestler, he was the main man who could deal with all of them. But obviously,
Yeah,
a lot of it's staged, in it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it's not for me that load of men covered in baby oil rolling around in their underpants, coloured underpants. It ain't for me that. Uh, Okay, Juggy is coming out yet again, PR guy for Anthony Joshua. If he's not getting Big Ron to go on Talksport and say that Anthony Joshua should let Spencer Oliver and train him, if he's not doing that, trying to get his son out that way and nosh Joshua off, he's coming out doing interviews saying, "Look, I'm not talking shit. Joshua beats Okolie and all this and blah blah blah." It's we're all Finchley, aren't we? It's one of them, isn't it? It's
Yep.
mates and all that, and it's now become that embarrassing. Really, the media are the problem in my
Yeah.
eyes. This is why boxing's in such a state in the UK. I know they're
Yep.
saying that boxing's in a strong position now because Bricktop's with DAZN, Eddie's with DAZN, Oscar De La Hoya is, and Top Rank are looking for trying to get a deal somewhere. But what about UK boxing? What's happening with UK boxing at the moment? Because the shows are absolutely pony. And who's Eddie Hills got in his stable that's any good?
No one. No one. He put all his eggs in one basket. I mean, he's got good fighters, but nobody with like real crossover appeal like an Anthony Joshua. And Frank Bricktop, he's done the right thing really, just signing up all the heavyweights because they always say, don't they, the health of boxing goes along with the heavyweights. And this is why I said to you last week, didn't I? I think Eddie Hearn will be retiring fairly soon. I don't really see him sticking around because, like I say, he put all his eggs in one basket on the Joshua train, earned handsomely out of it. But what's he got? What's he got now? You don't really see him signing big stars down the road, do you?
No, he's got stars in Australia and America that nobody gives a toss about. He's got nobody. What's he got in UK? Dalton Smith,
Mm,
Pusher Ben, a two-time drug cheat. Dalton Smith, who's is not engaging, and they can't get the Adam Azim fight going. And Anthony Joshua, who's been knocked about anyway, basically. I know he's got Joshua on a lifetime deal, but he'll not be hanging around forever. And if he gets flogged again, you can see him going, couldn't you, Joshua? How are they going to market him? Are they going to? Is Joshua going to have 8 or 9 losses and still be pay per view? To
well,
like Derek Chisora, 13.
Derek Chisora is Derek Chisora, isn't he? But I don't think the thing is with Joshua. Joshua's never been a fighter. Joshua's an athlete. Where I think Derek Chisora's unique selling point, whether you agree or not, I don't agree. He should still be in the ring. His unique selling point is he is an hard man. He's a very hard man. Like out on the, it sounds a bit juvenile to say, but out on the street, Derek had spread Joshua all over the place because he's a fighter, you know. Joshua hasn't got that. Once the athleticism gone, what have you got left? He's just a real husk of a man because he can't fight. If anyone puts the heat on him, he melts like a candle. So yeah, I think, and the worst thing that could have happened to Eddie recently was Johnny Fisher. All right, it wasn't a defeat, but he looked like a lemon, didn't he?
Well,
And
he's propping his shows up in UK, isn't it, when they have him on?
yeah,
I mean, you take him out of the equation, there's nobody to prop the shows up. So you don't seriously think they're going to put him with Lazy Rhino again, do you? Not yet, anyway.
no,
Want to milk
not
him
yet.
more, milk that honey. Be like Anthony Joshua, never really put him near any danger, did they really? They thought they were putting
No,
past one with Ruiz fight and Miller and then Ruiz. But and they'll get another fat one after Miller because he would doped out in his head. And Ruiz flogged him, didn't he? So
yeah,
it is what it is. But when Joshua's gone, Eddie will go because when Chris Eubank went, they wound it down at Matchroom for years, didn't they?
yeah,
Wound it, and I think that's what they'll do. The
yeah.
fight with Crusher Ben and Eubank, it's an absolute farce, and well done to Carl Frampton for calling it as it is.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I was
Yeah,
very,
Carl Frampton called it as it is, and I respect him. I've got a lot of respect for Carl Frampton now. He's
yeah,
called it what it is, but nobody else wants to talk about it, James, do they?
no, and that was on Talksport as well, the propaganda wing for the boxing world.
And did
So
you see how
fair play.
silent they went? The interviewers, how the pundit people, how silent they were when Frampton was saying his bit. They were like,
Yeah.
you know what to say? Did they? A bit
No, he
like
didn't
that
know what to
AD
say.
Aladipo or whatever he's called. I mean, they're coming out, going on. Look, the cheerleaders. They've got to work
Yeah,
with these people. That's what it is. And they shouldn't be allowed YouTube channels when they work in media. That's my opinion. So because
no.
all they are is PR men for them. I was never a
Well,
PR man for Dennis, and I had my channel a good few years before we parted company, and I was never his.
yeah,
No, I had him on channel, but I weren't his PR guy. I used to roast him in front of him. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So, okie dokie. Well, listen, let's have a look. That's about it. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions
Go
about
on.
tonight's show and what you tell me what you think, who you think wins. Catrol Barboza. We've got 2 minutes.
Catrol,
Can't roll.
Catrol,
Bellotti, Gomez Jr.
Bellotti.
Bellotti. That's at British and Commonwealth. I mean, you know, Zelfa Barrett against Jazza Dickens. Tony Bellew got Jazza in on that fight, hasn't he?
Zelfa,
Pat McCormack against Robbie Davis Jr.
McCormack,
McCormack. William Crawler against in the 6th rounder against Zachary Crawler.
Crawler.
Okie doke. That's about it, James. We're out of time. I will see
All
you
right, mate.
next week. You take
See
care.
you
All the
soon,
best to you
pal.
and your family.
See you later, pal. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Well, that was James from Essex, now living in Manchester. Women love him, men want to be him. Hey? Can't get out at door in his remapped wheelchair for all big pile at the on Matt at bottom of the stairs of Valentine cards. Go on, pop, pop, bang. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Go on, peace out. Max, you're not welcome on the channel till you get to 17 stone.